All right, let's see if this is actually working. Actually, one thing I do have to change is there we go. I don't know if my mic or if anyone can hear me. I've only got one viewer. Whoever my one viewer is, let me know if you can hear me all right. There we go. That's working. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Michael. All right, so yeah, Michael can hear me. Yeah, so yeah, I've been away for quite a while and got a new laptop here, so figured I would give this a shot, see how well it works. There were some videos I was going to look at. I was over at Breakfast Tacos, um, the Restream app that he uses, though headset wasn't working quite right on that for some weird reason. But Jail Warren was over there, bridge the divide. He had it covered. At one point, they were talking about COVID. I was like, "Oh, this should be interesting." I go in there, and Tacos was like, "Let's change this. I want to change this topic. We do the God thing here. This COVID thing, which it wasn't Jail Warren that brought up COVID. It was one of the other panelists, one of the other people on the panel that brought it up. No, I'm not going to be talking about COVID here. There was a video. I do want to see if I can find a video on here that I was going to um, look at. See if I can find it. It's been a while. I think it was on Planet Peterson. I think it's Planet Peterson's channel. Let's see if I can find it. Bear with me. I'll see if I can find it. Mm, well, that's on Christian nationalism. I don't know. I don't know if it's that one or not. There was one on here that was really kind of funny. Um, it wasn't very long. It might have been this one. Nope, wasn't that one. Sorry. It wasn't that one. That's for sure. I feel like it was like 3 weeks ago. No, that's not the one. Hmm. Oh, I can't find it. I don't even know if it's on here. Yeah, sorry. I didn't come here with anything in mind other than to test this, and then I figured I could find something pretty quickly. But I'm just getting filled up with all sorts of all sorts of people right now at 3 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time here. Um. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. I have the perfect one. Let's see if it's still on here. Yeah, it was this one right here. All right. I'm gonna give this one a shot just to see what happens. Right there. I don't think that's it. There it is. Whoa, it's cascading though. What did they change up here? That's just select. All right, I'm not exactly sure how this is supposed to work. Used to be able to they've changed this. Oh, I think I know why. It might be because, yeah, see, that shares the entire screen, and I don't want that. I just want to share the window. Um, Sorry, bear in mind, you get it. Yeah, this is weird. This isn't what I wanted to share. I'm not sure how you do that on this. Yeah, bear with me here. I can't figure out, like, because I'm using Firefox. And the reason I'm using Firefox is because the built-in video on this is a little weird. Um, I may have to switch over. All right, I am at a loss here, folks. This shouldn't be that hard. I should be able to select a window. Huh, this is weird. I don't know how to. I've tried the only three things that I can do, and for some weird reason, it won't let me just share that particular tab. Well, that's stupid. I can do the entire screen, I can do the StreamYard Studio, and I can do the GeForce overlay, but I can't. Hmm. I go to. That's weird. It says there's a Firefox tab option. I'm not seeing that tab option though, according to this. Like I said, it's been a while. I may have to end this and try it, go back to Chrome, because this isn't allowing me to find. Yep, that's not working. Well, that sucks. Let me... I'm not going to end the stream. I'm going to try something real quick. I'll leave the studio. Add to stage. Should be working now. I should be able to do that. That was weird. I'm wondering if the video is still going to be glitchy, though. I can just do it this way. Let's do Tom Rabbit videos. Well, there. Okay, here we go. Now I've got it. Aha, there we go.
For your recording. Hey, YouTube out there. Tom Rabbit likes to record these. Hey, Tom Rabbit.
Hey, guys. So this is going to be the third time that Darth talked to Mike Burgandy, and it's ended bad every time so far. But this is the first time.
Is there even a consensus that homosexuality is genetic?
Yes, and did you know that in the bonobos, they
okay,
are
stop.
gay?
We're done. We're done. We're done with you. You are a liar. Okay, bye.
Look it up.
Okay, you're listen. You are an unhinged liar. Okay.
The bonobos.
Yeah, this one's hilarious. It's not very long, but I wanted to watch it again because it's hilarious.
I mean, you're just a loose cannon. You're an unhinged liar. Okay.
And then, of course, they talked for a second time, and that didn't go well either.
Why can't he use logic?
I'm really at the point where I've lost
my patience with your constant diversionary tactics. Now, here's the problem.
Look, sir, I've been really nice to you
When you
lately.
say-
I can
when you
get
say
meaner.
that-
Look, bro. I can get meaner if you want me to, right? Like, I've been nice to you this whole fucking time, and you're actually a prick. Okay. I don't give a fuck if you leave.
Bald-faced liar. You have
Okay, you're here because you want to get viewers and followers. You know who.
Wait, that's something interesting. Michael D. Glad Tom's back making more content, but sadly his second cow, Bossman Jack, getting locked up for a while now. You have to explain more there, Michael. I don't know anything about that. I've been out of this stuff. I'll go over and hang out over at tacos, but every once in a while and check around and stuff. But some of the stuff. Oh, Tom has a second channel called Boss Man Crack. Oh, okay.
Who the fuck I am, and you want to stay here because you're getting more followers and coins.
nice.
Michael, does that still sound okay? Is the audio coming through? It was about an online gambler crackhead named Bossman Jack. You should 100% dive into that rabbit hole. It's wild. Bossman Jack is a wild cow. Okay. And audio is good to me. All right, cool. Thanks. Yeah, maybe I'll check that out.
I'm sorry, sir. Guess what? You're not going to sit here and babble. You're going to give a fucking argument for your God or go away. And I know you're a Christian.
Nice.
We talked before, and I literally debunked your ass about Leviticus. Okay, you think it's okay to kill gay people according to your Bible? Okay, you're a piece of shit. You're a jackass. Give evidence for your God, and the reason why you're here still is because you want coins. So give evidence for God or go away. There you go. Rage.
Love the sound effects. Rage quit.
Wasting our time.
And then just the other day, Mike and Darth.
This one is when I saw this, I was listening to it as like a couple times. It was just like, I mean, the look on my face was just pure bewilderment. Just the stuff coming out of Darth Dawkins' mouth. It's like, what are you doing?
Were reunited for the third time, and he joined this other guy's room, and they talked for 15 minutes until Darth came in and crashed the party.
And who
Use your empathy and
determines?
logic to do this.
Well, then who is the one who gets to say what is and what isn't appropriate for humans?
People do. We do. We don't need a God
So
for
it's a
that.
collective. Yeah. So collectively we agree. Okay.
Yeah. Now,
Fair.
No,
Okay,
not
so it's
not
subjective.
collectively necessary.
now, see, now here's the interesting thing about that part. That's something that I wouldn't. I don't get. I don't get on TikTok, so I don't know where this video is at. But the interesting thing about it sounds like they were talking about morality, right? And what's really fascinating whenever I hear like non-believers and believers getting into conversations about ethics, they boil down to like what he said. Well, who ultimately says what's right and what's wrong? And it's like, what is the point of ethics? If ethics is defined as like moral reasoning, then where is the reasoning when it comes to just to oh well, this thing, this god or these gods, right? They state what is and what isn't, right? These things are immoral, these things are moral, these things are amoral, right? Where's the ethical reason? Where's the ethics? There is no ethical reasoning anymore. You don't have to do any reasoning on your part. You just have to do whatever it says. Do you have to know why? Do you have to know the why? No. Just do what it says.
Necessarily, but people, agents. We are agents. We don't need a God.
Okay, how in an atheist worldview, where you're in an open system where nothing's impossible, is agency
Nice.
real?
What are you talking about? How is it?
And what I'm referring to there is this right here. BMJ, boss man Jack, would gamble like 80 grand away in seconds, then start tearing his mom and dad's house apart on live stream. He got popped buying 10K of crack while streaming. Sweet.
Impossible for
So what you're telling me is that yeah, because this is his. So he has a lulz cow that's just a complete lunatic. Is what you're telling me, right?
agency to be real.
Yeah, in an open system where you don't have an identifiable absolute, where nothing can be impossible,
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying here either. With atheism being an open system, I have no idea what he's referring to here. Like in an open system, you don't have an absolute, so nothing can really be whatever.
moment you affirm anything positive, it can be instantly negated.
So that's just word salad. Where's the impossibility in my view?
So you're not understanding the metaphysic. Okay, and by the way, I'm a co-host here, so you're not going to be able to get away with the bad behavior. Please do not interrupt me, Mike. Mike, you're not going to get away with your rude behavior that you did when I was on your stream. I am a co-host here, not just a moderator. Okay, so you're going to be held.
There's that big dick energy coming out. Here it is.
To an adult standard here. Okay, now it wasn't a word salad. It's just that you are uneducated on a certain degree of metaphysics. So in a God world,
which branch of metaphysics are you referring to, Darth? Metaphysics is a fairly large branch in philosophy. So, which branch of metaphysics are you referring to?
It's a closed system because God cannot fail to exist. So that means that some things are impossible.
Like God failing to exist. But the problem is that in that system, God transcends your system. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I could have swore that from his previous conversations about God existing, God is basically, in the way that he would argue this, is God is a disembodied mind that transcends space and time and is the necessary precondition that instantiates and sustains everything. And I'm paraphrasing, right? And that's changed over he's had different ways of explaining it, but I think essentially I've got it correct. But if it's a disembodied mind that transcends space and time, then God's not part of his system. He's not part of any system. He's a necessary being that's essential for any other system to exist. He wouldn't be confined by any system, right? So God not existing is not even a question. It's just because God is a necessary being. God has to always be and always will be. So there you have it.
In a not God world.
And if I'm wrong, if I'm rusty on this, feel free to correct me, but it just goofy.
There's no identifiable absolute that would make anything impossible. So do you understand?
Yeah, that's weird. Like, what do you mean by identifiable absolute? Based on our perception of reality, the reality that we all seem to be sharing in, there are certain things that just seem to be dictated by the reality that we all seem to share in, that some things are impossible, right? We can't jump to the moon, right? We can't fly on our own power, right? Or other interesting little things like bachelors. There's a married bachelor is a contradiction, right? Based on our understanding of like, okay, we have men and women, we have this thing that we call marriage, and we have this term called bachelor that refers to an unmarried man. So if you say an unmarried bachelor, that particular term is contradictory. It's not possible. Philosophically, it's not possible. Because, yeah.
Or do I need to further explain to you the difference between?
So it seems the limits of things are kind of dictated by the reality that we all are kind of playing around in. We're all trying to figure things out. We start out born, we start figuring stuff out on our own. Sometimes we have help from our family members, hopefully, like not to stick our finger in sockets and lick our finger, stick it in a light socket or something. So yeah,
Please do not interrupt me while I'm talking. Mike, if you're a grown-ass adult, do not interrupt me. This is not your stream. Now, if you want to speak at length, you're more than free to do so. But if you make a grandiose statement that you're building on, I will interrupt you in order to defend it. Now,
and then he said right there, if you're going to make a grandiose, let me take that back.
Statement that you're building on, free to do so. But if you make a grandiose statement that you're building on, I will interrupt you in order to defend it. Now,
why would he defend his grandiose statement that he's trying to build upon? Anyway,
did you understand the difference between a closed metaphysic versus an open metaphysic?
I think so. We can just say nature is necessary, and so just like
yeah, I don't know what an open or a closed. I don't know what an open or closed metaphysic would be, because he said at first it was an open system. He didn't say an open metaphysic. He just said an open system. So if you're talking about like in the sense of like science, like in thermodynamics, where you have open and closed systems, that's one thing. I don't know of this term open and closed metaphysic. And I haven't gone back to look it up, and I'm not going to look it up right now.
we can say God is necessary. We can say nature is necessary.
Okay, so here's the problem. What is your absolute within the model of reality that cannot fail to be?
We can
see, and that's the problem. He's doing it again. He's interrogating him on something that is an absolute that can't fail to be. The only thing is that in Darth's worldview, in Darth's position as a presuppositionalist, everybody has the same worldview. Under presuppositionalism, everybody has the same worldview. It's just there are those that deny it in their unrighteousness, right? They refer to Romans 1. But this is where the epistemology and the ontology get fucked around with, right? They'll argue that everybody has this particular worldview. It's not an epistemic thing that you gain naturally. It is something that you're basically imbued with at birth. This is just what you have. In order to have any kind of intelligibility, in order to start to really understand things, that worldview is just basically given to you by God. Knowledge and beliefs and all that kind of stuff, any kind of intelligibility about the world, about what people are saying, about your feelings, about your own subjective state, this is all from God.
can just say nature is necessary.
When you first of all, does saying something make it?
And I would never say nature is the necessary thing, because I know where he's going to go. Because he's asking him, and he's put him on the burner. That's another problem when you get into conversations, and I think that's why Darth probably came in, is because him and whoever the other guy is Mike Burgandy and this other guy when they were talking, Mike was probably explaining something to him, and then Darth was like, I'm going to learn that motherfucker a thing or two, and then he goes in there. So basically, he starts challenging him based on things that he was saying. This is a problem with a lot of things that sometimes I see with with non-believers doing, is when they start. I was actually seeing a lot of it over on Taco's channel. There were Christians in the live chat, and instead of giving any kind of arguments for their deity, explaining what their deity is, anything like that, they're just basically asking the non-believers for alternatives. Well, you tell me why it is that we exist, and why we have altruism, and why we have empathy, and why we have compassion. I don't know. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend that they came from, I'm not going to sit here and pretend and say, oh, they must have come from a God, when I don't have any actual examples of God or gods being necessary for empathy, compassion, altruism, for anything. So why would I do that? I can live with the fact that, yes, there do seem to be these things within reality that, when it comes to humans, especially in the sense of compassion and empathy and altruism and all that, that we seem to see when it comes to human behavior. We have words that describe those things. The nature of those things, like the origin of it, I have no idea. So if I don't have an idea for it. And then what they do is they go, well, if you hold that they're a part of humanity, then your atheism is debunked. And then they won't explain how that works. I was just dealing with that over on Taco's channel. It's insane.
True.
Well, this is what you're doing with God.
No, what you're doing is now the
you just say God's absolute with no actual evidence.
Mike, I'm pleading with you to conduct yourself like an adult and not like a petulant teenager. We do not merely just assert that God exists. We give a rational defense of it, whether you agree with it or not. Now, when you say nature, okay,
the rational defense is normally based on begging the question. It's normally based on that informal fallacy.
Nature a token of concreteness or abstraction?
Concreteness.
Okay, well, you're wrong, because nature is a token that refers to a set of a plurality of alleged concrete.
Yeah, this is stupid. Because if he's talking about nature as in using that to be synonymous with reality itself, that's like what some people would say is the universe. Right. I like to use reality because it's a little bit more in case there's like more than one universe. Let's say that it can, it's not just a universe, it's the cosmos, right? It's everything that can possibly be, right? And so I use reality and not just the universe. That's an actual thing in and of itself. What he's trying to say is, well, reality is just a token word. It's just a word that's being used for junk. It's just the junk. It's just all the stuff that exists. So it's almost like in my opinion, it's like he would basically argue that a house isn't a house. A house is the stuff that's in the house. So a house isn't the house itself. It's the living room. It's the walls. It's the things internal to it. There's no the structure itself isn't a thing. It's the things that are inside of the house that make the house the house. So he's kind of, in my opinion, kind of fucking with a concept here that I don't think he really should do. He's just trying to say, well, it's a term for a category of things. Really? That's not how Mike's referring to it. I think Mike would be referring to it more like a person if a person were to refer to a house. Yeah, a house is a house, and that house is made up of lots of things, and it consists of lots of different shit, and it can have lots of shit within it. That's how Mike's referring to nature, and nature being used synonymous with reality. But that's not what he does this fucking bait and switch shit with concept of, oh, well, is it a token or is it a term?
Particulars, correct? Is nature a term or a token?
It can be both. The word can be used both ways. It can be used as a category of all things that are natural. Right? Because you know how, like, in today's society, we have a way of using natural, like philosophically, you don't use it this way, but food is natural. The refrigerator is not natural. The TV is not natural, right? The lights that we have in here, that's not natural light. That's right. My light bulbs don't produce natural light, quote unquote. Right? Bread is all natural bread, no preservatives, no synthetic things, no stuff like that. Right? So natural would then be a term for those food or those particular things. The cat is natural. I'm natural. The dog is natural. My clothes aren't natural because they're made of synthetic fibers. I think that's what Darth is trying to do here. And it's really, when I first heard this, I was just like, dude, come on, man. This is retarded, even for you. Yeah, I'll drop the R word. It's my channel. Why not? This is really stupid. If anyone's offended by the use of the R word, I apologize. But it's Darth Dawkins we're referring to. This is stupid.
Is a set.
Sure.
Okay.
Now,
So is
why-
the term
why
is
does
the term?
God-
All
What
right,
does
listen
God
to
do
me,
in your view?
Mike. This isn't your stream. You don't get to divert. Okay, so what you're doing right now is what atheists do all the time. You want to rabbit trail. But see, we're not done with you defending your position because you haven't defended your position. You said
You won't let him defend his position. You haven't shut up. And when he does try to say something in defense of his position, you tell him to just to stop. That you'll allow him to talk. Well, you haven't really allowed him to talk. You're just going on. You're pushing him into. Darth is pushing him down a path. You're going to stick to this. So when you said nature, nature isn't an actual thing in and of itself. It's just a word that basically it indicates a category of all things. According to him, God does not rest in the natural. He does not. He's not the natural. Because God is an independent. If God is purely independent, then reality itself, or nature, or the universe, however you want to refer to it, is the stuff that it's the stuff that exists within space and time that his God is supposed to transcend.
nature is absolute, but a term of abstraction, right?
No, I
That
didn't say nature
represents
is absolute. I said
Please
it's
do not interrupt me, Mike.
Nouns aren't absolute, right?
Okay,
That doesn't make any
Mike,
sense.
please do. Michael, please don't act like an obnoxious teenager. You think you're a badass streamer, but you're not. Now, I'm going to show it here to the entire.
See, this is just him flexing. That's all this is. This is just him flexing. And the thing is that he's not. Yeah, this is
Entire audience, because you're either going to look like a fool or you're going to resort to being rude and obnoxious. Okay, whichever one happens, we'll see. Now, you said nature is the absolute. So is all
Nope.
the members of the. Listen carefully. Is nature a token, a word that represents a set?
Yeah.
It can be used to indicate a set. It can also be used to represent as a noun all that exists. The reality as we know it, and all that consists as all things within reality. This also it includes abstracta. The things that we conceptualize as real things, as parts of reality that we conceptualize, that we form in our heads, that we don't consider as being extant things or concrete things, but they're abstract things. They're a part of reality. So there's a real problem with what Darth is doing here.
Okay. Now, are all the members of the set discretely absolute and eternal?
What do you mean absolute?
The stuff that, see, now here's where he could say, if he wanted to fuck with him, he could say the stuff that makes up all that stuff, that is absolute and eternal. If reality is if nature is a closed system, and according to the law of thermodynamics, matter and energy can neither be destroyed or created, then they can be argued as being absolute, I guess, or just ultimate, however he wants to put it. They can't be created, they can't be destroyed. So there you have it. And it's just the particles that are making up everything else.
Absolute.
Absolute meaning cannot fail to be, cannot fail to persist. Are each of the members of the set that.
Yeah. So that's what he's talking about, because what he wants to do is they cannot fail to be, meaning that everything comes into everything that is just is. They will always be what they are. What he's saying is, in a sense, is he's saying it's necessary. It's not just absolute, it's necessarily absolute. It's necessary. It will always be, it can't not ever be. And because in his view, nothing that's natural, nothing that's in the physical, I don't even know if he really holds to this actually ever being really physical in any way, shape, or form, because according to him, it's the mind of God, this disembodied God that he's argued about before, that instantiates and sustains all of reality. And so that could fail to exist, but God can't fail to exist. So if God wanted his creation to fail to exist, he would just basically think about it not existing anymore and it would go away.
You refer to nature.
And I use that loosely. However, God would just let go of the creation. But I almost guarantee that if you ask Darth Dawkins, like, so you just gave him this little analogy. You just said, so you know how human beings can create, you know how a person can build a car? I've known people who've done this. They go out, they buy the cars, they have a project car, they want to rebuild like a 57 Chevy or something like that. They go out, they get the parts, they've got the tools, they've got the facility to do so. And for over the course of a couple of years, they rebuild they rebuild a 57 Chevy. They put it all together. Right. Once they've created the 57 Chevy, they even have some parts that are manufactured, all this kind of stuff. They get the car put together, and then they walk away. They can walk away from that car. Does the car still exist even if they walk away as the creator of that car? Right. And of course, the simple answer is yes, of course. Right. Human beings do this all the time. We make all sorts of stuff. If human beings were to cease to exist today, it's probably the case, right, that everything that we've built, all the buildings, all the cars, all the electronic infrastructure, all the coaxial, everything that we've created and built and strewn all over this fucking planet would still be here even if we poofed out of existence. All of our creations would still be here. But I do believe that in his mind, if God stopped existing, his creation would not exist anymore. This world, the reality itself, the set of all real things that he's talking about would cease to exist. Because God's not there to sustain it. He instantiated it and he has to sustain it. If he's not around, it can't be sustained anymore.
Are each of the members absolute?
Ontologically, we can suggest the universe or nature is
I didn't ask you. You're not answering my question. I didn't ask you. I want you to stop.
This is a bad-based question, though.
No. I'm interrupting you because you're not answering my question. Did I ask you, Mike? I don't want to have to kick you. Did I ask you to give me suggestions?
Well, I'm answering your question.
Did I add? No, Mike. Hey, Mike.
Can be one eternal entity.
Mike, I don't want to have to kick you. I didn't ask you to give me suggestions, did I? I want you to tell me you're not addressing.
You're trying to pigeonhole,
question.
Though.
Okay, Mike, you're being a petulant teenager.
Can I interrupt real quick?
No, please let me finish. Let me finish so I don't get distracted
done with your nonsense.
Okay, hey, Mike, and you see, you're doing exactly what I predicted.
No, you're being so dumb with this, and Burgandy is correct. I think that's reasonable for him to say he's trying to pigeonhole him. He's trying to walk him down this very narrow Socratic path so that he has no escape. And so the path leads to, well, you've got to have this ultimate entity that instantiates and sustains all of reality. Right? That's why he asked him for the alternative. Don't give him the alternative. I don't know. You're just dealing with what you got as an extant thing, or at least as far as you know that you're an extant thing, right? You can be as loose with that as you want. You're still stuck having to deal with reality, and these are big questions. Like, where did the universe come from? Why is there something rather than nothing? These are existential questions, and that's essentially what everything is boiling down to. Everything boils down to the believers are coming in now, and they're basically saying, hey, you non-believers, how do you answer these big questions? Do you know how I answer those big questions? I don't fucking pretend to know the answers. I can say, yeah, I'm willing to entertain all these things. Well, why aren't you willing to entertain a God? Well, I am willing to entertain a God up to an extent. I do have conversations about it. But the minute you start talking about the God being all good, and given the reality that we all seem to be sharing in, I don't think an all good God would necessarily exist. Why not? Why don't you think an all God would exist? Because of the moral problems, the suffering, and the quote unquote natural evils that we have. I did up an entire argument on this. It's based on an ultimate video game creator. It's very simple. If everything starts from God, then everything is from God, which means that God had to conceptualize from the way that God is being defined. His ontology brings about the ontology of the world itself, of his. This is the creator, creator creature distinction kind of thing, or creator creation distinction. Creation is the ontology of is its own ontology, and God is his own ontology. He's a necessary being. That which is a creation is not a necessary thing. It's not absolute. It can fail. It could possibly fail to exist if God wanted it to. But everything that happens within that reality, the very way that we can know things goes down to even the way that we feel things. So God has to instantiate and sustain the way that the victim of a violent crime feels. And the person's desire to commit those kind of things, or to do those kind of things, God has instantiated and sustains that reality. He had to think it up.
Mike, you're being a petulant teenager.
I want to hear you go. I want to hear.
Paperboy, don't let me get distraction and lose my train of thought. Mike, I asked you a question.
Dude,
I don't want to hear. I don't want. See, you're doing what I'm saying. You're not even showing any deference. Okay,
You're about to get a heart attack.
You're about to get blocked, and I'm recording this so I can upload it to YouTube. Now, you're behaving like a petulant teenager. I'm trying to show you, giving me suggestions. You said, well, we can suggest this. I'm not asking you for suggestions. What I want you to answer straightforwardly is the question, and don't deviate from the question. Are each of the members of the set that you call nature, are each of the members of the set, are they absolute?
That's the thing. I don't know. Does anybody here remember Burgandy actually agreeing with it as being a set? I think he did, which in my opinion was a mistake. I would have just told him, I'm not referring to it as a set. And if he would, well, how are you referring to it? It's essentially a noun for all extant shit. For space and time, the universe, the cosmos, and all that's in it. Right? It's like referring to a car as an actual car without saying, well, car is just a category, it's just a category term for the set of stuff that exists in the car. The car is the car. That includes the outside of the car, the interior, the exterior of the car, the interior of the car, everything that's about the car. Remember, he's the one that appeals to the idea. The God is a mind. It's a disembodied mind. It transcends space and time. So if space and time are the fabric that make up and everything else that God has done to create the reality that we all see, that's all of that creation. That's not a category. That's an ontology. Technically, it can be considered a category, but you know what I mean. It's the entirety of all things that exist and what they exist in.
we can say nature is necessary and it's one entity.
Okay, I didn't ask you to. I'm not asking you to say something.
This is why your questions don't work.
You're not addressing
your
the
argument's
question.
Not working, brother.
You're not. Okay, now you're being a petulant teenager, just as I predicted. You're not addressing the question. You're saying, "Well, we can say." I'm asking for you to say.
The universe can be one.
No, you're not.
Entity.
You're not focusing, Mike.
See, now he switched to the universe. And that's the problem, because he agreed, I think he agreed earlier, that it's a category. The universe or cosmos would not be a category term. It would be a noun for all things. It would be, the cosmos would be all of, if there's the possibility of a universe, of multiple universes, whatever, all of that is included. It's not just delineated. So it is it's a conceptual label, but it refers to a set of concrete. It refers to a concrete thing, which is the cosmos and all the other concrete shit that's in it.
Because you're completely inept at metaphysics. Listen to question, Michael.
It's not just the shit that's listed on the piece of paper. It's the piece of paper and all the shit that's on the. I think that might be the better analogy. I think the way that Darth is trying to argue is, well, it's just a list of all, it's just a word that basically denotes all the things listed on this list. It's just all these things that are on this big list of paper. No, it's the piece of paper itself too. It's the notepad. It's the thing that contains the list of all the words. It's all of it.
Oh, you're not cooperating like an adult. You're acting like a fucking petulant teenager.
And again, if I'm wrong on my analogies, or if somebody can come up with a better analogy, feel free.
Sure. Now, I'll ask the question again. Is each member of the set of nature, Michael, please?
It's not the nature is a member. That's where he's fucking that up. Each member of the set that is nature. Nature is a member in and of itself too. The car is a member. The paint is a member of the door. The interior is a member of the car. The radio is a member of the car. Just like my body. Just like the paper. That's the mistake. That's the thing that I would fuck with that old man on that so hard. It would fucking, his head would be I'd hope it cause him to break his own neck. This is not a conversation, and he does not want to have the conversation. This is bullying. This is straight bullying, badgering. Actually, it's not even, you know what? It's not even that. It's just pedantic harping.
Stop. You are doing exactly as I predicted, that you're being an obnoxious, petulant teenager. I'm going to go back to the question that you have been dodging, pretending you're answering. Would you stop interrupting me, Michael? Michael, you're going to get kicked because you're behaving badly. You're not trying to cooperate in the least. You're doing exactly what every atheist does. I'll repeat the question that you were not answering. Is each member of the set that you call nature, is each discrete entity within the set of nature absolute?
Why must I hold to members?
If you don't answer the question, you're good.
Members?
I want you to, because a set has members.
Yeah, the set has members. Yeah, but in this case, when you're talking about nature, the way that Burgandy, I believe, was referring to it, the thing that all the other stuff that exists is also a member itself.
Why must I hold to a set?
Okay, because you said nature.
Yeah, you said nature. He basically railroaded nature as to being a term for the list. It's for the list of things. So each itemized list. So think of all of creation as an itemized list of things. The itemized list of things, that's the category of all things. while ignoring the notepad? Because he's stupid.
It doesn't have to be a set. It could be one
No,
entity.
okay, good, okay. Yeah, dude, you know something? You know what? You are so
He's so angry.
okay. All right.
So, no,
I'm gonna give you one final warning. You're acting like an.
See, and you can tell this guy, I don't think this guy he doesn't want Darth to boot him. But Darth is just railroad. I mean, why they let him do this, I have no idea. I would just mute this guy. I remember talking with One Way, and One Way was actually really good about this. He would not let Darth do this shit. One Way Apologetics, he would not let him do this. No matter how drunk One Way would get, he would not let Darth do this. He would mute him. Piss Darth right off. He's like, no, you're not doing this on my fucking channel.
Obnoxious little teenager, and I don't want to have to kick you. Now what you're doing is you're blatantly being dishonest. You earlier said that nature was a set, okay? You're now contradicting yourself.
Hello.
Did you not earlier? Stop fucking interrupting, you petulant.
See, that's why. Once he got the answer that he wanted, Mike couldn't expound on it anymore. That's why it was a trap. It was trapped from the very get-go. That's why you have to think about your answers. You don't go with your first answer. You think. You go, how would he answer if I do this? It's like playing chess. Let the timer run. Let your clock run a little bit before you make that move, before you move that piece. Because the minute you agree to his terms, now he's got you in his game. If he goes, no, it's a set. No, that's not how I'm referring to it as. But once he agreed to it, that's it. As far as Darth's concerned, now he's got him on the path. Nope, I got you. And he's going to squeeze that as hard as he can. And and Mike can't do anything about, he can't change it, because Darth is not going to be charitable in the least about this in any way, shape, or form. Once he's agreed to what Darth has set up, that's the rules of the game. Mike's got to argue that way.
Little child.
Oh, Christian love. Christian
No,
love.
no. You want to know something? This is what you're doing. Because okay, we're done. You're blocked.
Jesus love you. Jesus love you.
Yeah. Do you see the meltdown there? Do you see that? You see, I am righteously indignant with.
Yes, he was laughing at you. That was a meltdown. I saw the melt. We heard the meltdown, Darth. We all heard the meltdown. It wasn't coming from Burgundy.
Indignant with that little piece of shit. You see what he did? Rather than bicker, he just decided to act like a teenager, even worse than bickering. I mean, this is psychotic. What he decided to do was, rather than answer the question straightforwardly, to be rude and obnoxious, and be so rude to the point where he just stagnates and stalemates the conversation, because their tactic is not to cooperate in the least. What a vile person he is. And I'm recording this so I can upload it to YouTube.
Watch how I erase my marionette lines.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, here's a good one.
All right, let me move on to our next guest. It looks like it's going to be Jonathan. Jonathan's next in line. How you doing, Jonathan?
Yeah.
Jonathan, are you at least 18, and do you believe that Satan is real?
I'm 31 and I'm Christian. Yeah, to answer your question, Satan is real.
Cool. And do you think that Satan is a bad guy?
In my worldview, where there is such a thing as bad and good, yeah, I believe it's bad.
Why?
Well, bad is the opposite of good, and so if you oppose that which is absolutely good, which is God, who created all things good and intends for everything to be good, then you automatically become bad.
Why would I believe that
Without
God is
God, there
good?
is no good and bad.
Why would I
sorry?
believe that God is good?
Well, I think that's a loaded question. Why would you
No,
believe
it's not a
there
loaded
is a
question at
God? Why
all.
would you
I'm
believe?
asking
Yeah, it
you
is. It
why
is.
I would believe that God is good.
No, a loaded question is a loaded question would be, have you stopped beating your wife?
Yeah.
Why is goodness entailed in the God hypothesis? Because
The
your
reason
book
why
says
it's a
so?
loaded question. The reason why it's a loaded question is if I give you an answer, it'll be a regressing why. You already assume there is no God, so like I
No,
can't prove to you
that
that.
has
Okay.
nothing to do with this
But under an internal critique, it doesn't matter.
argument. I'm asking why should
I've heard a lot of people making this really same fucking mistake. What was it? I was chatting with Cafe over on Tacos. I swear, I honestly think that guy has a problem with doing comparisons because there was a debate happening between these two people, and this one person that it was between a non-believer and a believer. Excuse me. And it was really kind of funny because the believer, some people in the live chat were really saying that, like, this guy really hasn't defined what his God is. And I asked, I said, has anyone heard one? And then I'd see some new people pop up in the live chat, and I asked him, like, has this guy actually defined what his God is? And Cafe responded to me and said, yeah, in his opening statement. And I said, well, I wasn't, basically I wasn't here for that. Can you say what his description was, how he defined it? And then he said something like to the effect of, like, and he appealed to intelligent design a lot. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. If it's intelligent design, that's like saying, well, how do you define God? It's intelligent and it designs. Neat. And I brought up, like, long story short, I brought up, like, well, if I use universe farting pixies, at least that concept it seems to be a little bit more substantive. And then somehow or another, Cafe thought that I was making an argument for our universe farting pixies. And I'm like, no, I'm drawing a comparison between the source's concept of what a god is versus the concept of universe farting pixies, in the sense of, like, anything that's, let's say, responsible for the creation of the universe. He seemed to have a really hard time with that. And I don't know why. And he thought it was like, oh, well, you're trying to make this argument for universe farting pixies. And I'm like, no, it would be, I think the best way I could describe it to him was, and I did, was like, if I tell you I have a dog and you don't know what a dog is, and I say it shits and it lifts its leg to pee, that doesn't tell you much about what it is, does it? And it was weird to me how he thought that that was me making an argument for universe farting pixies. And this guy, and I've seen this same little technique done too, where he goes, well, you don't believe it in any way. Yeah, I'm asking people to see if they can convince me of it. If you're just going to come in here and reiterate the fact, oh, well, if I don't believe in it, then there's no way you can convince me. Okay, bye. And I've actually done that to people in the past. Well, you don't believe it anyway. Then why did you want to talk? Well, I don't know, just to see what you had to say. No, bye. If you're not willing to try to convince me of something that you say exists, fuck off. Well, it doesn't matter. You don't want to believe it, and then they'll appeal to, oh, you just want to be able to sin and fuck whoever you want to whoever you want, and snort, snort blow off a hooker's butt, whatever. It turns into. I've had it turn into that on multiple occasions over the years. I've had these conversations. That's why I stopped having them. Fucking stupid. Like just over on tacos, there was a guy in there from North Carolina, and he was talking about like his belief, and he's a theist, and how he believes in God, and his proof for God existing is um, uh, being precognizant. Because long time ago, he was doing a job in Mississippi, and he was going to go out one night, and he just had a really bad night. He just had a really bad feeling about going out at night, and there was a really bad explosion that happened at a gas station not too far from where he was staying, and it killed 5 people. Like, it would have been on his way when he was headed out. And so JL was there, and JL was giving him, like, the rundown about pattern seeking and, cognitive, confirmation bias and stuff like that. Mine was simple, and maybe this was wrong for me to say, but I said, well, let's say I concede and that there is such a thing as a phenomenon known as that human beings have, that's called precognition. It's an actual phenomenon. I concede it's an actual phenomenon. We witness it in some people. Some people will just have these intuitive feelings and go, yeah, you know what? I think something bad's going to happen. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go out. And something bad happens, and they go, well, looks like my feelings were right. I'm glad I stayed in, because I would have been right, like not even a half a block away from whatever happened, or I would have been right there in the thick of it. And I go, whew, wow. But to say that even to concede that human beings, that this phenomenon of precognition even exists amongst human beings, to say, well, that's evidence for God. How did you draw that? How did you determine that's from a God? Well, how else are you going to have feelings about the future? I don't know. Maybe quantum fields are fucking with things that are going on in my head. I don't know. But this guy really tried to justify it. And then on top of it, he wasn't just justifying it, he was actually claiming to JL that he knew God to exist. Good luck with that. He apparently didn't understand, like, and I don't know if anybody asked him later or not, because I left, but whether or not they asked him to differentiate to him the difference between belief and knowledge. I bet he couldn't.
Should someone be forced to conclude that if a God exists, that it's good?
Oh, like by him showing you through his evidence. So he creates good things. He
gotcha. So the
things.
Evidence. Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, so we're in agreement then. We can look at somebody's fruits, right?
Yeah, so now he's doing the same thing. He's assuming creation. He's assuming that the stuff is created, so there is this creator. There's good stuff, so therefore God is good.
Somebody, like a created person, or the creators?
Somebody just means any entity.
Yeah. Okay. We're making a general.
Very good. Okay. So as it turns out, if we're judging the fruit between Satan and God, it looks like God's the bad guy and Satan's the good guy. I can't find anything Satan really did that was evil. And it seems to be that the God of the book does all kinds of evil shit all the time.
Okay. And then I disagree. But we can get into it.
Do you think having women raped is a good thing or a bad thing?
Having women raped against their consent is a bad thing.
Is it always a bad thing?
Justin uses this one a lot. I don't have a problem with it. It's not bad. There is definitely a Bible verse in there about well, he'll get into it. I don't even have to explain it.
Is this a universal principle?
Yeah, I would assume so. Yeah.
Okay, so there's no scenario in.
Yeah, and remember that some Christians, like this guy, I don't know if he does or not, but some Christians will argue for absolute morality, as though God's morality is absolute. Now, when I hear the term absolute morality, I automatically think, okay, so it's never There's no relativity, there's no subjectivity to this. So raping someone is wrong all the time. There's no right. It'd be like, for example, if we said that killing another human being is always wrong. It's absolutely immoral to kill another human being, to end another person's life. But if another person but people go, yeah, but I do believe that if one person kills another person, like they murder them, then we can prosecute them, and if they're found guilty, then we can kill them. That's relative. If it was an absolute moral, it would be wrong in all cases. So you wouldn't be able to kill the person that killed the other person, because even though they violated that moral, right, by killing the other person, we can't do the same thing, or we're just as guilty as that person. The people that are killing that person under the law is allowing for a relative moral standard, not an absolute one.
In any possible world where having women raped is a good scenario, it's always unjust.
Yeah, it's always unjust.
Okay, cool. Well, let's read second.
Unjust. Well, that's not what he said. Always unjust. And you should always ask for clarification. Always unjust, meaning there is no situation where it would be considered moral or immoral.
2 Samuel, because in 2 Samuel, the punishment that was handed down to David for what he did with Bathsheba includes the raping of his wives. It says, "Thus saith the Lord, I will raise up trouble against you from within your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor. He shall lie with your wives in broad daylight, for you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel in broad daylight." And then it happens in chapter 16. Absalom storms the palace, chasing his father out because he's running a coup against his father. And in a display of force over his father, takes 10 of his wives up to the top of the palace and essays them on top of the palace to demonstrate that he's the one in charge now. And God said he's the one causing it, which means God caused those women to be raped.
God is sovereign. God is not the one doing the raping, and God is not the one who programmed the hearts of those men to rape.
Yeah, we'll try this again.
I'm sovereign. And
God didn't say
he would have to, though. If God is the progenitor, that goes back to if God is the necessary precondition for all of reality, who instantiates and sustains all of reality, then yes, he would have to be the creator of that. There's no way that could just pop out of existence, because these are the same people that will, when they start getting a little bit more presuppositional bona fides, if that's what they want to get into or whatever, they will ask non-believers, well, you need to account for X, or you need to account for Y. And then when you ask them, if you get in the same conversation and you go, I want you to account for the origin of, let's say, what they're talking about, which is rape here, account for rape. And what they'll do is they'll say they account for it with humanity. But how do you account for your moral? How do you account for your intelligibility for moral truths? For knowing what is right and what is wrong. How do you account for that? You don't account for it on your own. God is the thing that instantiates and sustains all things. So the morality that you're going off of is God. But the morality is based on also the instantiated and the sustained states of affairs of what this God has created. So if rape is a thing, is a phenomenon that exists within reality, what accounts for the existence of rape as a phenomenon within reality? What accounts for the feelings that a rapist has to do that to another person? And what accounts for the feelings that they have and the feelings of the person that of their victim and the aftermath? Something has to account for all of those factors that are going on. It's not just a shell game. Human beings are feeling real things. The rapist is feeling something about doing what it is that they're doing, and the victim is feeling the fear, the dread, the humility of what happened to them. God had to make all that. And they'll go, well, no, that can just come about. Wait, are you saying that there are things that can just emerge? That there's just emergent things that can happen? Well, yeah. Are you sure? Because you don't think that consciousness can just emerge. Nothing can just emerge on its own. God is that which instantiates and sustains. That's what gets funny about these conversations.
Say sovereign, he says, I will do this thing, right? He says, I will do this thing, meaning he's causing the women to be raped as punishment for what David did. But go ahead, lie to me. Tell me how words don't mean words.
Oh, I'm not lying to you. I'm telling you that is the theme of the Old Testament. If people are going into slavery, he's not doing the enslavement. There's bad people who want to take into slavery. Okay.
What is God taking credit for here? He says, I'm going to do the thing. What's he taking credit for?
Justice. He's saying the very thing you did in secret.
Having the women raped is justice?
No.
This is crazy.
The one thing I always disagree with Justin is when he accuses them of lying. He does this a lot. And this is something that it's not just with him. I've seen it as a trend on other places as well, with other places as well. And it's like, no, you honestly, there are people who honestly believe this shit. As a fellow believer, I believed some of this shit. It wasn't that I was lying. I just, they believe it, and then they find ways to try to talk their way around it because they're once you get emotionally invested, especially if you're emotionally invested in it, you'll try to say anything that, okay, well, maybe there's a reason why God is doing this. This is justice on God's part. Are you sure? Why would God need to use rape against these women for something that David did?
Can I make my point without you being a little bit dramatic? Sorry,
I just got a little excited when you said that this is justice.
What I'm saying is that if somebody rapes somebody and he says, "Hey, I'm gonna have it let happen to you," what you did is happening.
He didn't say that. Try this again.
That's exactly what he's saying.
Jonathan, I'm going to need you to stick with the parameters of what the Bible says and stop adding to it. He didn't say, I'm going to let it happen to you. He says, I'm causing it to happen.
Now the guy is stuck. See, what he's doing is he's trying to think of an apologetic on the spot. And Justin has read this. He has it highlighted. But I will do this thing before all Israel and in broad daylight. Take your wives before your eyes and give them to your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in broad daylight. For you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all Israel and in broad daylight.
Is it your interpretation from that text that he says, okay, these guys were all innocent and I'm going to program their heart to go rape those people?
That's entailed in the text when God says, I'm causing it to happen. In fact, he says so about the trouble. He says, I will raise up trouble against you, meaning he's doing it. The one who's trying to take over the kingdom, Absalom, God takes credit for that. God says, I'm raising up the trouble against you. It just says it right there in the book.
I hear you. I think it's a recurring theme. I think we started off with saying, hey, if you and me just decided to get up and go rape somebody, absolutely bad. If somebody kills your kid and then you go kill theirs, an eye for an eye is being taken. If you go rape somebody and then somebody says, hey, you raped my wife, I'm now gonna go rape yours. The person didn't start with the intention of raping, and I think that.
Do you think that's justice? So, for example,
now remember, now that goes back to what I just said. So as long as the person has done it first, then it's fine for that to be bestowed upon them. So the idea that, remember, he said, is it always wrong? And he said, yeah, it's always wrong. He's not saying that now. He's not saying it's always wrong. He's saying it's wrong if it's done, but it's not wrong if it's done against the person who perpetrated it or against someone that they love.
Well, if you're
so it's not always wrong. There is search a relative or context. There's context here. There's relative positions. The morality is relative. It's wrong in relation to if a man rapes a woman, that's wrong. But the man who did the raping, if he is raped, or if someone that he is in his family member is raped as punishment for what he did, then that raping is fine. So it's not always wrong.
Your wife raped somebody, would it be okay for you to get raped as punishment?
What? I mean, we don't like that idea. But
I
what
didn't
else
ask you
is
if
justice?
we liked it. I said, do you think it's justice? If your wife rapes somebody, you think it's justice for you to get raped in return?
Are we ready for this party?
Guests are on their way, and food and drinks were just.
All right, let me move on to our next guest. It looks like it's going to be Jonathan. Cool. And do you?
Well, I
lost my spot.
Yeah. Okay. We're making a general.
Very
way of
good.
judging
Okay,
good and
so
bad. Yeah,
as it turns out, if we're judging the fruit in broad daylight, for you did
doing the raping, and God is not the one who programmed the hearts of those men to rape.
Yeah, we'll
He's
try
just
this
saying,
again.
I'm sovereign, and
God didn't say
So, go ahead,
sovereign. He says, I will do this thing, right? He says, I will do this thing, meaning he's causing the women to be raped as punishment for what David did. But go ahead, lie to me. Tell me how words don't mean words.
Oh, can I make my point without you being a little bit dramatic? Your interpretation from that text that he says, okay, these guys were all innocent and I'm going to program their heart to go rape those people.
That's entailed in the text when God says, I'm causing it to happen. In fact, he says so about the trouble. He says, I will raise up trouble against you, meaning he's doing it. The one who's trying to take over the kingdom, Absalom, God takes credit for that. God says, I'm raising up the trouble against you. It just says it right there in the book.
I hear you. I think it's a recurring theme. I think we started off with saying, hey, if you and me just decided to get up and go rape somebody, absolutely bad. If somebody kills your kid and then you go kill theirs, an eye for an eye is being taken. If you go rape somebody and then somebody says, hey, you raped my wife, I'm now going to go rape yours. The person didn't start with the intention of raping. And I think that.
Do you think that's justice?
The intention is to rape. The intention is to rape the other man's wife because that man raped his wife. He said it was always wrong.
So for example, if your wife raped somebody, would it be okay for you to get raped as punishment?
What? I mean, we don't like that idea. But
I
what
didn't
else
ask you
is
if
justice?
we liked it. I said, do you think it's justice? If your wife rapes somebody, you think it's justice for you to get raped in return?
I stay with my answer. No, I don't like it, but that is what just an eye for an eye. Isn't that justice?
I'm asking you, do you think it's just?
I am saying that. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying an eye for an eye is just.
So it's
But an eye for an eye happens to the offender, the sole offender. Lex talionis says eye for an eye, tooth for tooth, life for life to the offender, not wife for wife.
so you're demonstrating that not only is the God of the book vile, but you're vile. Because first of all, justice requires that the person who committed the crime is the one getting punished for it, not the spouse of the one committing the crime. If I commit a crime, my partner should never get punished for it. That's not called justice. But I know you have to do these pretzels to maintain faith. I get
No,
it.
I don't. No, I don't. What the innocent let me put it like this.
What crime did the 10 wives of David commit?
Could I respond before you add on another question?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If somebody takes out your eye, you take out theirs, it's a simple equation. One tack for one tack. Mm-hmm. If someone attacks your innocent kid that didn't do anything, and then you attack me, it's not the same as justice, because you took something away. I would have taken something away from you that hurt you more than taking away my life. If you take away my kid, now we're equating each other with the same amount of pain.
Yeah, but
does that make sense?
But did the kid take the punishment?
I'm not saying what's happening to the kids is just.
Okay,
that's why you're twisting my words.
Those were your words. You said it was just. You said, I don't like it, but it's just. So you think in your worldview that it's just to punish people who didn't actually commit the crime. No wonder people are like fleeing from this religion left and right. You guys are unbelievable. I've never met a group of people that are more sick and willing to justify harming people for the sake of a fairy tale. It's crazy.
There's a reason why I'm calling the kids innocent in the example I'm giving you.
Okay, so it is okay to punish the innocent parties then?
No, what I'm saying is that, like, more pain and more debt is being built on top of it.
Yeah, I'm aware.
But the very first crimes that were committed are being put right.
They're not. You can't put crime right by harming innocent parties. That's not how that works.
Just as a mathematical equation, let me just put out what I think, and then let me hear what you're saying. If you have a father and a son, and then a neighbor that's a father and a son, if a father kills that other kid, an injustice has been done. An injustice has been done to two people, the innocent kid and the father.
Yeah. So do you think it's justice if the judge says now you can go kill somebody within the other family?
I want to finish it because I can't seem to get it out. I'm not trying to say, hey, those innocent kids deserved it.
This guy's struggling hard.
That's not what I'm saying. And you keep. I'm trying to be patient, but can I say it again?
Spit it out.
Thank you. The justice that I'm referring to that is being done is the fact that one father lost a kid and now the other father has lost a kid as well.
So
an equal debt has been. Can I finish, please, bro?
Just because the math is irrelevant. We're talking about the word justice. I know that you're getting lost in the conversation, but we're talking about how justice works, not how math works, right? So when you punish innocent parties, that's never justice. It's never just to punish innocent parties for the crimes of the guilty.
An equal debt has been created.
The debt is irrelevant.
That's
how's that irrelevant?
Because the child that you murder back doesn't owe a fucking debt. The debt is irrelevant. We're talking about justice. You can't murder somebody's innocent child and call that justice. This is why you people are sick. You need help. You need locked away. Someone needs to check your hard drives. You're dangerous.
I can't finish my sentence with you.
I would prefer you
I'm
not
saying
to.
two innocent kids died. Like that never escaped my sentence.
Yeah, and that's not justice. Murdering innocent people is never justice.
It's not good. That's what the word you're seeking for. Justice is not it's not always good.
No.
So then God's not good.
Mm-hmm.
No, he
Thank
died.
you for proving that. Thank you for proving the point. God's not good. If you're saying that God's justice isn't good and God is perfectly just, Deuteronomy 32:4 says God is just in all of his ways, then you're just demonstrating that God's not good. You've defeated the entire argument that you came in here with. These are the gymnastics. I hope you lay awake at night thinking about the gymnastics you have to go through to justify the position that you're advocating for right now when you think it's okay to have women raped for crimes that they didn't commit. It's crazy.
Do
you have sisters?
I will say it again.
Do you have sisters?
I do have a sister. And I'm not saying it's good. Again,
if you raped your best friend's sister, do you think it would be okay for your best friend to rape your sisters in return?
I already said it's not good. Do you see where you're going?
Okay, so would it be considered? Would it be considered justice?
Okay, can we agree that it's not just for nobody to do anything?
Okay, so it's not just.
That's one.
Or it is just. Right? I'm waiting for a yes or no. Would it be just for your sisters to get raped if you raped your friend's sisters?
Can we define just?
Yeah. I've already defined it 3 times. Just is when people get what's coming to them based on your actual actions, things you did, which is why we don't punish innocent parties, at least not where I live. We don't punish innocent parties. We punish the parties that are actually guilty of a crime. Punishing innocent parties is not justice. That's called retribution. That's called vengeance. I'm not asking about vengeance.
That's part of it.
Okay, so just to be clear, Jonathan, if in fact you raped your friend's sisters, you think it would be just for him to be able to rape your sisters back?
I wouldn't think it's absolute justice. I don't think it would.
It's a binary choice, Jonathan. Yes or no? Is it justice?
This is the justice I seek, and I
try this again, Jonathan. It's a yes or no. I need you to not be a coward.
These conversations are something else.
And say yes or no. Would that be justice?
I'm not a coward.
Then
I think if you want to redeem the situation, and I think if you want to put it right,
yes,
you put forgiveness in the equation. But we're not putting that there. There is no forgiveness
in
your equation.
Jonathan, say yes or no.
Yeah.
Yes or no. Would it be justice?
I think the road that you should go is to redeem and to forgive. That's I think
he
the
won't.
road
He won't say it. He won't say it. Would it be justice though?
Oh, I already said it would be retribution. That's the point I'm trying to point out.
That's not my question. I asked, is it justice? It's crazy. He's going to answer every question other than the one I actually asked. Would it be justice? It's a yes or no. It's crazy that he even has to think about it. Yes or no? I need a yes or no. To be clear, Jonathan, so you're muted now. Okay, so here's what's going to happen, Jonathan. I'm going to unmute you in about 5 seconds. If there's not a yes or a no that leaves your lips, then the conversation's over. I'm not going to let you sit here and evade easy yes or no questions. So we'll try this again. Would it be justice if you raped your friend's sisters for him to be able to rape your sisters back? Yes or no?
It would be retribution.
Okay, so you're too much of a coward to answer the question. I'm merciful, so I'll give you another chance. I didn't ask you about retribution. I asked you, would it be justice? Try again, yes or no. Would it be?
And maybe I'm wrong, but with retribution, I think retribution is actually measured under a system of justice. I don't know why he would think that retribution would be fair.
Justice.
You're not interested in exploring the idea of...
Try this again. My question is whether or not it would be justice. I don't care about the meta. I just need an answer. Yes or no, would it be justice?
Why are you not interested in the meta?
Okay. Well, then I'll just move on. Thanks for letting us know that not only are you dangerous, not only are you a piece of shit, you're also a coward. Thanks for letting everyone know.
Ouch. So many different videos. So little time. That's 52 minutes. Looking for a short one. Nope. Oh, this one's funny.
Welcome in, G-Man.
Finally, Justin, how are you?
I'm doing good, G-Man. You don't want to put your face on the screen, or?
No, because you owe me an apology. You just told your audience that I was not going to be on this channel and I wasn't in the background. I'm here. I know you can see who's in the background, right?
Oh, see, last time you talked to me, you said you wouldn't be coming on the stream. So now you're a liar?
No, I did say I wasn't going to come on here. I changed my mind. People tend to do that.
Yeah, it happens.
I'm not being disrespectful, but I do tend to change my mind.
Sure.
If you know my history on here, I said I wasn't going to go to a lot of places that I went to.
Actually, don't know your history. I don't follow your channel at all. So do you agree or disagree with the claim on the screen?
Jesus is not a fraud. An atheist cannot make the claim that Jesus is a fraud.
Oh, I certainly can. So we can start with the fraud claim. I think my fraud claim is rooted in the idea that he was the Messiah, and he certainly wasn't the Messiah. So according to the Bible, the Messiah was supposed to be an actual king that sat on the throne over Israel, over the Israelites, and
I apologize about this. That was my phone. I apologize. We muted.
And dealt with all of Israel's enemies. Do you think he did that?
I believe that because atheists believe that God doesn't exist, you can't say that he was a fraud. And Jesus is God.
Yeah, we certainly can. It's called an internal critique. Like if I said it's true that the bananas in pajamas were actually frauds, I think we all know that the bananas in pajamas aren't people or things that existed in real life. We're referring to the fictitious version. So when I say that Jesus is a liar and a fraud, I'm obviously referring to the character in the book.
Well, here's the thing. The character in the book is God, and atheists plainly say he doesn't exist.
I disagree with that.
We have a fundamental disagreement here that since you believe that God doesn't exist, then that means you can't say that Jesus is a fraud or liar. You can't even.
This is pure genius. This is pure G-Man genius. He thinks that a person, there's a bunch of people that believe the claims of the Bible to be true. He doesn't believe it to be true. But G-Man is saying, well, you don't believe it to be true, so you shouldn't be able to say anything about it. So think about that logic. If you have, let's say, let's say you have a group of 1,000 people that believe that Bigfoot exists. And then you have another 1,000 people that say that they don't believe that Bigfoot exists. The people that believe Bigfoot exists are now going to say, well, you can't say anything about Bigfoot because you don't believe Bigfoot to exist.
Say that he walked the earth, really, to be perfectly honest.
Was Harry Potter a good character or a bad character?
Well, then if we're talking about Harry
G-Man,
Potter,
was Harry Potter a good character or a bad character?
I don't know. I've never seen Harry Potter, and I never will see Harry Potter.
Have you ever seen a Disney movie?
I've seen a Disney movie, yes.
Which one?
Let's say Snow White.
Okay. Was Snow White a good character or a bad character?
It depends. If you're in the occult, you probably think she was a good character. If you're a Christian, you probably think she was a decent character. But I think that she was decent.
So you can make value judgments about fictional entities. I'm glad you can finally figure that one out. So my claim is, according to the Bible, the Jesus that is in the Bible is in fact a fraud. And he's a fraud because he claimed to be the Messiah and he wasn't the Messiah.
Ask that again. I'm sorry because my phone was ringing. I'm sorry.
So Jesus claimed to be the Messiah and he wasn't the Messiah. Jeremiah 33 talks about the Messiah. He says, the days are surely coming, says the Lord, when I will fulfill the promise that I made to the house of Israel and to the house of Judah. In those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David, and he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. In those days, Judah will be saved, and Jerusalem will live in safety. And this is the name by which it will be called, the Lord is our righteousness. For thus saith the Lord, David shall never lack a man to sit on the throne of the house of Israel, and the Levitical priests shall never lack a man in my presence to offer burnt offerings, to make grain offerings, and to make sacrifices for all time. Did any of that come true? That's one of the
best prophecies in Scripture, actually, come to think about it.
But did it come true?
Yes, I think that Jesus is the Messiah, and yes, that did come true, and it will become more true.
Oh, great.
In the future,
yeah. So show me.
When Christ returns.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that, folks. I am going to go ahead and turn in. I am nodding off at my computer. Thank you for joining me. Have a good night.